Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back. This is Sam and you are watching Gaming Wines. Today we are going to discuss about some gaming stuff and I'm going to review them. Let's get moving. The first update comes from Final Fantasy 15, The Monsters of the Deep review. Fishing has a long storied history to video games, while often featured as a minigame in popular larger games. Ocarina of Time, Stardew Valley, or Nier Automata. Dedicated fishing games have remained a niche genre. In order to catch the wider audience, developers need to bait the hook with something interesting, like a fantastical setting from the world's most famous role-playing series. And thus we have found out playing Monster of the Deep Final Fantasy 15 as an expected fishing game for PSVR. Square Enix first published foray into VR. Monsters from the Deep seems like a strange fit, especially giving them a publisher show-off and shooting gallery style Final See tech demo prior to launch of PlayStation VR. As it turns out, though, fishing lends yourself into a VR. Monster shows off in Final Fantasy V, beautiful art in VR, but its reasonable gameplay chucks that work within young medium limitations. Monster of a Deep easily could be felt like a chronicle catch, but it's actually a surprisingly robust and throughout little game, and one of the most polished experience in the PSVR. The basic mechanics of the fishing are fleshed out with a wide variety of rods, reels, lines, and lures and gigs for you to mix and match. Different rules like rods better than attracting particular fish which can be found or felt somewhat arbitrary, but it's nevertheless add another layer from deep and progression to the game being the only way to spend the money you earn. This game will be releasing in the start of 2018 and I hope you guys enjoy it, so keep downloading this and also watch my videos to get latest news of this game too. The next update comes from Skyrim, that he is a Dragonborn. It's a VR review. Graphically, Skyrim VR appears to be a mixture of original series and the special edition of the game PlayStation 3 released back in 11/11/11. Here's the review of my time with some accounts to ensure a stable framework. In short, Skyrim, the beginning of it show its age. It is exaggerated by the fact that you can will go as far as the texture surface of the game in VR that you can word otherwise. Even in the intro, I found myself leaning towards the card bench to inspect the textures simply because I could. There are the few control schemes available in Skyrim VR. At the most basic, you can play the game using a DualShock 4. The defects uses supernatural motions and snap turn right to the right thumbstick, and you can snap to the right about 30 degrees. As you press forward, the game will close and side apertures and circling edges with black ring like can be seen in other VR games. Moving faster makes the ring bigger, which gives more with nausea something stationary to focus on. If nausea isn't a problem to you, there are a variety of toggles to adjust them to a particular comfort level. The DualShock is likely to least fun way to experience Skyrim VR. However, let's talk about the PlayStation Move. It is an awesome game. It has been released, so just guys check that out. Next update is from Odin Ravens, The Soaring High review. Huygens and Munin's goal is to make it back to Odin first and racing around the Earth in its opposite directions. The Earth landscape has decided along with cars that have landscapes illustrated on the other end. Lush forecast, forbidding mountains and golden fields are some of the terrains that lay out, each wonderfully illustrated. The card layouts makes no sure two landscapes and end up side by side. Once all the 16 cards have been arranged, you will create a loop where your raven will fly down on the one side to back to the other. Each player has two decks of cards which are drawn from, of which both will determine your movement each turn. One deck contains landscape that corresponds to Earth you created. To move to the next phase or your own path, you must play as a landscape card that matches the one of the moving into. With the exceptions, a couple of basic choices. Each Loki card will affect the entire race path to both of your opponent. If you use card to make the outer journey easier, the result may hinder your return journey. There is nothing particular innovative in the gameplay, but the game doesn't have to be innovative to be fun. Perhaps this failing lies in price tag of $24.99 certainly puts it on the higher end of the spectrum for a short card game. But when it considered its gorgeous artwork and quick engaging play, it's a two-player filler game. The next update comes from Roller Coaster. It is the most wonderful time of the year, Roller Coaster Legends to be released by Christmas. It might be a little chilly to out for some roller coaster at Cedar Point, but Wardox has announced that the next title, Roller Coaster Legends, will be out for PSVR, Oculus Rift, and HTC Vive by Christmas. If you want some thrilling rides in Christmas season and you don't want to brave the outdoors, you can grab Roller Coaster Legends soon. Check out the trailer and stay tuned for more news here. The next update comes from Rhythm Paradise Superbeat Psionic Review. Like most rhythmic games, the aim of Superbeat Psionic is a simple and execution. You have to control either 4 or 6 lanes of buttons which are laid out in an oval shape. Each button correlates to one of the face buttons of your Joy-Con, and you can even use the touchscreen to hit them. In an unlockable mode, you will have to L to press the buttons in the tandem with the 6th lane, and you have the 8 different inputs to worry about. Additional, you have to use both the analog sticks to swipe or down to the simple presentation can lead to the complex gameplay pretty quickly. In order to clear the song, you will have to stay with some of the life remainings while you can still playing off with your loser and life bar. It counts as a failure at the end of the stage in a nod to PM Studios. Previous games you can trigger fever mode by hitting enough notes in the succession, though you lose the second you break your streak. For those who play for PlayStation 4 or Vita versions, you might have to adjust your muscle memory a tad because the placement of the Joy-Con analog sticks as more quickly find the touchscreen. While I could tap quit a little bit holds for the squibs and difficult for me to land, and I felt it was a high impossible to clear songs exclusive with the touchscreen handle mode, so you'll have to use the buttons in order to play 8 button option. It's not a deal breaker, but expect that sometime transition your hands to the motion. I am guessing that the leaderboards won't be cross-platform, so competition might be not as fierce as you say the Sony version of the games. The next update comes from Injustice 2. No compromises guys, this Injustice 2 Ultimate Edition is revived on PC. PC ports of fighting games have historically been trashed, suffering from all manners of technical problems. Warner Bros. Stumbled with their own property twice in the past few years, as the Arkham Knights and the first Injustice shipped with slow problems. The netcode issue respectively compared games like Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor has shipped in the fantastic shape, arguably superior to their console counterparts. Injustice 2 came out for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on May 16, 2017. And now in the November 14, 2017, we are finally getting it hands on the PC version. Could this be, as the title, the Ultimate Edition? Whether Kenneth reviewed this game on PS4, he has almost nothing but high praise for the game, citing only the mirror balance issue at the launch. We have seen a tremendous amount of updates, roster add, balancing fresh gear and more. Even the piracy updates that Kenneth mentioned have been patched, allowing you to block other players outright. Other fighting games can be went through this year, but none of them have measured up to Injustice 2 storyline. impeccable graphics and rock-solid netcode on console, it was time to see if the 6-month wait between versions could erase the issues and procedures could never overcome. Technically, Injustice 2 shares a lot with the games like Destiny 2 on PC. The game operates at the silky movement of 60 FPS during any controllable action, bouncing back to 30 FPS for any CGI movements like intro dialogues, movie movements and super moves. This can exactly how it operates on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. If you expected uncapable frame rates of 60 frames per second cutscenes, then you will just need to adjust the expectations. Thankfully, there is a whole lot in the box, but it doesn't mean you won't be modding into custom superheroes anytime soon. Thank you guys for taking a look at this video. Subscribe my channel to get the latest gaming related stuff and technical gadgets, and also comment below. Thank you guys for supporting me. We will meet soon in the next video. Till then, Gaming Vines signing off.